Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4:30.
A drug sting leads to a dozen arrests in Nicholas County.
A high school student was taken to the hospital after being bumped by a car on the way to school. It's a job some may view as creepy. Coming up, we'll tell you about the two men vying for the position of Fayette County coroner. WKYT News at 4:30 starts now.
Good afternoon. Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott reporting. A 6-month drug investigation came to a close today. The goal is to keep your family safe.
Operation Fright Night was completed this afternoon, and 12 people involved in drug trafficking were arrested. It's our top story now at 4:30.
Officers say a drug investigation that started back in May ended this morning with 12 drug trafficking arrests.
When you see these people walking on the street and then this morning we get to arrest them, it's a relief.
Nicholas County Sheriff Jeff Seidel says his deputies and Carlisle police officers started searching for 14 suspected drug dealers around 5 o'clock this morning, and within an hour and a half, they had 12 of them in custody. Investigators tell us the drug sting targeted people who were trafficking marijuana and prescription pills like oxycodone. We're told some of the drug trafficking suspects were running major operations, selling as many as 300 pills a month.
Everyone visits the doctors out of state. They're just like a mom and pop shop.
3 of the people caught in the sting have been arrested on drug charges before. Officers tell us not only are the repeat offenders costing taxpayers money, they are also costing law enforcement time and resources.
Jails are full, and they just have to release them. And like I said, they see they're only going to have to pull 2 or 3 months, and it was good money at what they were doing before, and they just pick right back up.
Officer Gary Kinder says after drug offenders have been convicted several times, the penalties get stiffer. He hopes that will keep the cycle from repeating itself again. In Nicholas County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
The people who were arrested in that roundup are being held at the Bourbon County Detention Center.
A student was taken to UK hospital today after being bumped by a car. It happened on Center Parkway in Lexington near Tates Creek Middle School. Police say the student was bumped by the car about 8:30 this morning. The child was taken to UK hospital as a precaution. It's another cool fall day, beautiful day in the bluegrass with mostly sunny skies.
Yeah, but brace yourself because that dreaded 4-letter word is creeping back into our forecast just in time for Halloween. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now from the First Alert Weather Center. Do you have to say it?
You know, it really wasn't that long ago if you think about it. We had snow deep into spring this year and the winter that just wouldn't quit. And now here we are. October, and we're tracking another round of winter weather toward the bluegrass state. Here's where it shows up on Defender. The Big Daddy cold front is the one that is coming out of Canada. That's the same one that yesterday was across the high plains in the southern parts of Canada. Well, today it's heading toward the Great Lakes, and tomorrow it's right on top of Kentucky. That'll blow its way on in here with a blast of winter weather that is on the way, courtesy of that front. It's going to bring some very cold air and the chances for rain and snow that will be on the increase. Here's Live First Alert Defender. Nothing that is out there now. Temperatures are mainly into the low 50s throughout central and eastern Kentucky. Just some clouds that are increasing. But the focus of the forecast will be on, Amber, what else? Tracking the winter weather threat as we go into Halloween and the first day of November. I'm talking about the potential for a little sticking snow when I come back in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then, Chris. Thank you. As Kentucky high school football teams push toward the playoffs, parents on the sidelines may not be aware of the safety risk their child is facing every time they put on a helmet. A WKYT investigation has uncovered several school districts in the area are putting what researchers consider adequate or less than adequate helmets on football players. We traveled to Virginia Tech, where researchers have developed a star rating system that tells consumers what's the worst and best adult football helmets on the market.
One of the main things we were trying to tell people is that the difference between the bad and the good helmets is dramatic. They all pass NOxy, but do you want the one that just barely passes, or do you want the one that passes by a lot?
Sam is at the live desk with our investigative reporter Miranda Combs with more on this story that she's working on for us at 6. Sam?
Amber, thank you. Very interesting story in the middle of football season now. So this rating system for football helmets has been around for a few years, right?
Right, Sam. It got started in 2011, and at the time they rated all helmets on the market at that time. And then in the next years following that, any helmet that came onto the market, they would rate it. So any helmet made before 2011 is not going to be a part of this rating. So that's important for people to know. When you go online to WKYT.com after our 6 o'clock show, you're going to be able to see how your school district's helmets are rated and how many and what model and what brand. But when you do that, if you see it not rated, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means it was probably made before 2011.
All of this is coming at a time when even from the professional ranks down, we're talking about the issue of concussion. So the purpose of these helmets, of course, is to protect the kids' heads, their brains.
Right, and that's what we found out in this story, that awareness and education has come a long way. We talked to former UK quarterback Freddie Maggard. You know, he played 25 years ago, and he says, you know, back then it was called knocking the cobwebs out. Not a big deal, but right now it would be called a undisciplined play if you were to have some head-to-head contact. So, you know, that's come a long way in a short period of time in our awareness and education on concussions.
30 years ago when I played and I was 3rd and 4th string, they said you got your bell rang. Well, that was another way of saying a concussion today, so things have changed in a good way.
Yes.
I know you talked to a young man who used to play football and found out the hard way that that wasn't going to continue for him.
Great story for students and parents to hear. He had 4 concussions at a Lexington high school, tried to go on to college, and we'll tell his story tonight. He has a good ending, but a good story to tell.
All right, Miranda's put together a great story with Bart and Bill tonight at 6. Hope you'll watch, coming up tonight.
Working with dead people may not be top on everyone's list, but for the 2 men vying for Fayette County Coroner next week, it is a job they both feel is incredibly important and not the least bit creepy as some would think. Tonight, I talked to the candidates in a race that has one man trying to unseat his former boss. It's not an easy job. Many times the Fayette County Coroner is called to some pretty disturbing scenes.
A lot of times I will go in at a death investigation. The scene will be completely obscured. It's kind of like taking a puzzle and dumping it on the table. My job is to collect that evidence and those different pieces of that puzzle and trying to put them back together.
Gary Ginn was first elected coroner in 2002. Ginn says his office has handled more than 600 cases just in the last 3 years. For every death not of natural causes, Ginn must identify and determine a cause and manner of death. He was front and center in the days following the tragedy that was 5191.
I tried to handle each family with compassion. I try to make sure that each family was taken care of as if it was my family.
Larry Owens is a man who knows the compassion needed in the role of coroner. Owens, who is challenging Ginn, is no stranger to the Fayette County Coroner's Office, having worked there as a deputy for 10 years, retiring just 2 years ago. He's running on making the office a better understood one.
Some of the main things I want to bring to the office, one is transparency and accountability, to make the coroner's office more known in the community rather than being this obscure government operation.
The Fayette County Coroner's race garnered attention in August when Owens filed a complaint with the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government Ethics Commission. Owens claimed that Ginn, holding office as coroner and working for the University of Kentucky, was not fair to taxpayers.
My opponent maintained his position at the university. He would arrive typically around 3 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. the office closed. He left.
Ginn was cleared by the Ethics Commission and the complaint dropped. He says he never made it a secret that he worked for UK and denies the claim that he is never around.
I think anybody that watches the news realizes that I respond to death calls, whether it be 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, whether it be a weekend or holiday, after hours, whenever.
Ginn says he is proud of his work on being on the heroin task force and bringing attention to the growing problem, as well as working to get himself and his sworn deputies additional training and national certifications. Owen says if elected, he would educate the community on preventable deaths and raise more awareness.
One business in town wants you to jump all over the place this Halloween.
Get Air Lexington is holding a Halloween party this weekend. Our Deanne Stevens is out and about with some ghosts and goblins jumping around. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys, from Get Air. We're playing a little dodgeball. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to throw it to the head, am I? All right, so if you don't catch it, am I out? Does that mean I'm out? Yeah. All right, throw it. Here we go. We got our little ghost and goblins. We've got Elle, who is dressed up from Frozen. Who are you today?
Elsa.
Elsa. Elle is Elsa. Well, you're a beautiful Elsa. Are you having fun jumping? Yeah, well, get out there and continue jumping. Nancy DeVille is with us, and Nancy is our black light, Get Air black light witch, because you guys are celebrating with black lights, as I understand you do every weekend here at Get Air.
Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 to midnight we have black lights, and it's really cool, awesome fun.
You guys are having some awesome fun. You're holding off on the Halloween so the kiddos can work the trick-or-treat houses, but Saturday night the fun starts for Halloween for you guys.
And if you come in costume, you get a discounted rate of $20 for 3 hours, which is really awesome.
Okay, and I love the tumbling tracks.
That's right. I flew around on my broom, and I have not found another trampoline park within thousands of miles that has tumbling trampolines. Now, tumbling trampolines are longer, there's less metal, there's less hazard, so there's less risk of being injured. They're much, much safer, and look at these girls. You can have a lot more fun because you can do all kinds of flips and tricks and all kinds of stuff.
And moms and dads really appreciate that because that means they're going to sleep really well tonight.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get worn out totally, completely worn out.
This is great exercise, not only for the kiddos. We see some parents over there watching, but we know they're dying to get on the trampolines too.
Oh yeah, it's great fun for adults. I mean, I use my broom, of course, but when I'm not on my broom, I like to jump around on the trampoline. Should we go?
We shall go. I gave up my broom. I said it before you did. I gave up my broom for today so I could jump and be a part of the Get Air Halloween party that is happening on Saturday night, November 1st. Come be a part of it. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Back to you guys.
And she's still bouncing and jumping.
I am sure she is. Well, Tony Danza heads back to Broadway, and a star of The Big Bang Theory lands on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Suzanne Marquez has those stories and more in today's Eye on Entertainment.
The Big Bang Theory's Kaylee Cuoco has landed her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Cuoco is best known as Penny on CBS's The Big Bang Theory, but she began her career as a child actor.
Kaylee Cuoco asked that her star be placed near the late John Ritter's star. He played her dad on TV's 8 Simple Rules.
I can't imagine what's going on in heaven right now. He must be bouncing off the walls, throwing a party.
Tony Danza is headed back to Broadway. He's starring in a musical based on the movie Honeymoon in Vegas. Danza plays a smooth-talking gambler looking for love. He plays an instrument in the show and credits a page-a-day calendar.
It said get a ukulele, a chord book, practice 30 minutes a day for 30 days, you'll play for the rest of your life.
Honeymoon in Vegas begins previews next month. And Jake Gyllenhaal and the cast of Nightcrawler turned out for the New York premiere.
I will never ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
Gyllenhaal plays a crime journalist who works at night.
No, there's a zombie-like quality at a certain point. But somehow the most magical of work happened during those hours.
Nightcrawler opens tomorrow, and that's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Hollywood.
Melissa Rivers is looking for answers into the death of her mother, legendary comedian Joan Rivers. Several media outlets are reporting that Melissa's hired a high-profile New York City law firm to investigate. Depending on what they uncover, she has plans for a multi-million-dollar wrongful death suit. Joan Rivers went into cardiac arrest during a throat procedure at a Manhattan clinic in late August. She died September 4th. Earlier this month, the medical examiner ruled Rivers died of complications from low blood oxygen. All right, thank you. Kentucky's trendiest candy, windowless airplanes, and a zombie-proof cabin. It's the video that will have you talking. Take a look at this.
Candy corn, it's a staple of Halloween. It's so popular, it even has its own day. Today is National Candy Corn Day. Bet you didn't know that. More than 35 million pounds of the stuff will be produced this year. The sweet kernel dates back to the 1880s. Candy corn is also the trendiest candy in Kentucky. Savings site Sumo Coupon analyzed data from Google to find the trendiest candy in each state. In Texas, they love atomic fireballs. In California, a thing for wax lips. That didn't surprise me. I don't know why. And it must be a local item in Nevada where the trendiest candy is pencils.
Okay. All right. Well, this could be the future of flying. Take a look. No need to be jealous of that person with a window seat because there are no windows. The Center for Process Innovation came up with this concept. The plane's windows are replaced with floor-to-ceiling high-def screens. They display panoramic views captured by cameras mounted outside the plane. If you don't like the view, you can change it by choosing from a menu of pre-recorded images. The company says the idea could be a reality in just 10 years.
Zombies may be walking the streets this Friday, but if you're more concerned about the real thing, one company has you covered. UK-based cabin company Tiger Log Cabins is now offering the Zombie Fortification Cabin, or ZFC-1, for just $112,000. You could be the proud owner of your very own zombie fortress. Although some optional security features like riot gear and flamethrowers will run you a little extra. That has to be a trick.
You know, I worry about a lot of things, Sam, but zombies are not one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm